when you employ these institutions and these practices and these rituals of nubuwah, of prophethood, of prophecy, you get nur, you get light, you get strength, and you're able to overcome these things. And use it as a way of growing up. And this is language that I really like, and it's very specific language that I'll share with you a little bit about. It comes from the work of Ken Wilber, if those of you are familiar with integral theory and Ken Wilber. But he does something very interesting, and he does a lot of interesting things, but one of the things he talks about is this concept of growing up versus waking up. Now, that's very interesting to me. Waking up versus growing up versus waking up. What's the difference? You see, when we talk about personal development, oftentimes we talk about spiritual development. You hear this notion of, I need to get close to Allah, I need to make tawbah, I need to get my practice right, I need to get my 5 prayers, I need to fast in Ramadan, I need to do all these things, do extra nawafil, do dhikr, so on and so forth. What ends up happening is that we practice a disembodied religion, of rituals, of invocations, of dua, of salah, of suhbah, of khidmah. Even we can do service, we'll do acts of service, we'll do all sorts of things, and we're doing it with intention even, and that's beautiful, right? But it's somewhat outwardly oriented. It doesn't really necessitate a knowledge of the self. We're actually trying to transcend the self. You're applying the tools of transcendence. And what happens is that you will begin to transcend. That's just what happens, right? You spend time in an intentional community and you're praying 5 prayers a day and you're doing the dhikr and you're waking up for tahajjud with them and you're doing the weekly mawlid and you're, listening to spiritual counsel throughout the week between work and the gym and family time. You're marinating in all these meanings and spiritual practices. Week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 4 months, a year or two, you're gonna have this transcending experience, right? You're gonna start to grow and wake up to reality. I practice waking up for a long time. And I believe I bumped up against a massive obstacle because I had not done sufficient work in growing up. I hadn't. I had not done the growing up work. And what is the growing up work? The growing up work is what we were talking about, of really becoming more aware, increasing our awareness of ourselves, doing more muraqabah and muhasabah, going inwards, understanding the traumas that triggered the creation of our patterns and how our patterns are showing up in real time with people in our lives, with our relationships and our workplace kind of engagements and our spiritual practices. And most importantly, you find it with family, like our wives, our children, our in-laws, our own parents even still. Like there's certain types of relationships that will just reflect back, mirror back to us our states, how we're doing, It's like al-mu'min mar'at al-mu'min. The believer is the mirror of the believer. You'll see that, you can think you're the jam. You can think that you're the man. You can think that you've really attained something, And then, as the great North American Buddhist, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Anyways, one of them, one of these guys, he said, if you think you're enlightened, plan to go home to your family home, meaning on Thanksgiving, and spend time with your family for a whole weekend. From Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, spend time with your family, spend time with your parents and your siblings and maybe, their spouses, their children, the aunts and uncles of your family, your grandparents maybe. Spend time with them and maybe other guests that are coming into the house and see how you do. See how you feel. Are you really about that life? Really? Are you really that person? Are you really attained? It's a great metric, right? It's a great way of actually getting a sense of how you're doing. It's a great barometer. And most people that do spiritual work and don't do the growing up work will find that actually there's a great incongruence, that they can be in a cave, they can be kind of in khalwa, in like seclusion, and it's not a problem, but they can't really be with people. All their other stuff comes out. They're not able to sustain the nur. In some way, like there's so much light, they're not actually able to contain it, because the growing up work is what expands the container of the heart, of the body, to be able to take on lights. You see? So if you are in a constrained nafsani, you're in the first level of nafs, you're not able to get much light. But if you're able to do the growing up work and uncouple the trauma and expand consciousness and bring in mercy for yourself and other people, and begin to uncouple those default patterns that we have, those unconscious, automatic default patterns that we have, and begin to self-reflect and even choose how we want to be, choose how we want to engage, not just react. Someone does something and, oh, that reminds me of how my mom used to do it, and then just it's like, oh, I'm feeling very similar to how I felt as a child when my mom, for example, right, used to talk to me like that, or my sibling used to do something, and isn't it interesting that this person is bringing that out of me right now? I'm going to take a moment with that. See, like that's what, in part, is what a growing up person does, right?